I'm here tonight to share a story with you. The story is how I lost a job and what I learned. In Charles Dickens' immortal novel, A Tale of Two Cities, the novel starts off with the wonderful line. It said, "It was the best of times, it was the worst of times." It is the best of times right now here in the state of Maryland. Did you know that the unemployment rate is below 4%? Maryland leads the country in job opportunities. Yet, people are losing their jobs. I've been working for the state for over 33 years, and I was shocked when Governor Ehrlich submitted his budget in January to the legislators. That group of people down the road here, around Boulevard. He had to cut $300 million out of the fiscal year 2006 budget request. Why? Well, it mostly was caused by the Thornton Commission. Those good fellows who worked down the road there in the legislature in the year 2002 decided to pass this bill that said we're going to fund education in the state of Maryland. But they conveniently forgot how they were going to pay for it. So we ended up paying for it. And 150 state employees are losing their jobs effective July 1, including 2 people in my office. A lady in particular disturbs me because she has 2 grown children and they're going to college and she's got a college course. That's not good. My son works for the PeopleSoft Corporation. About a month ago, we were not sure if he was going to retain his job. Why? Because the Oracle Corporation bought out PeopleSoft. Oracle fired 5,000 of the 12,000 people in PeopleSoft. Fired 5,000. Fortunately, my son was retained. So, what have we learned from this situation? We learned that life with jobs is not necessarily fair. And situations happen where we have no control. But we need to be prepared for these events. We need to be prepared for these events. It reminds me of when I lost a job in 1986. I worked across the street here in the Department of Natural Resources. Certain things that happen in your life, certain dates, events you always remember. When your children are born, when you get married, when you get fired. Never forget, it was April of 1986. My boss called me in his office and he said to me, "Tom, I don't need you anymore. Go find another job." Now, that's a bit of a shock. No one likes that. And particularly myself, because I had done a pretty good job, I thought. Well, I left that firing scene, and I walked to my office, and I picked up the phone, and I called a manager that I knew in another state agency, the Maryland Environmental Service. And the gentleman said to me, it was like The Price is Right. "Come on down, Tom! We have a job for you!" Oh, hallelujah! It was great. But why did I lose my job? Why? Well, it turned out that in 1980, my wife and I decided that we needed to get funds to pay for our 2 children to go to college. So my wife had to go back to work. I joined the carpool to save some money. And so at 5 o'clock, I left the office. Well, lo and behold, there was a young Turk in my group. And he wanted my job. And he ingratiated himself with my boss. Because all decisions in the Department of Natural Resources across the street were made at after 5 o'clock when all the employees went home. I was out of luck. But I was going home, and my wife had a job in real estate, and I was doing things to support her, and we were supporting the children. And of course, I'm very glad I did that because both my children have MBAs. And it paid off. It really paid off. But how did I get this job? How did I get this new job? It didn't happen by accident. What actually happened was that in the year 1976, I was a computer programmer at the Department of Natural Resources, and I had the opportunity to help this other agency by doing work at home. I did work at home on my own time. And in 1976, we had inflation. It was running like mad in this country. People remember. In 1974, we had the Arab oil embargo. So my job had eroded. The state had not kept up with the salary increases. But I was sitting at home, and I'm working, doing this work to help this agency on this computer application. And my wife says to me, Tom, why are you doing this work? Because I was getting paid. And I said, dear, I don't know. But she says to me, Tom, the guy next door is working in the patent office. He's working on Saturdays, and he's getting time and a half. Anyway, I had done this extra work for a period of 10 years, from 1976 to 1986. And so, when I got fired, the reason why the man said, come on over, is because I had done this extra work. So, when you have a situation like this, what I have learned is you always have to put your family first. Dr. Phil's getting rich. He's written a book about it. It's sort of obvious. It wasn't obvious to a lot of people. You've got to put your family first. And the second thing you've got to remember is that you always need to do more than you get paid for. If you follow these two rules, when the man says to you, I don't need you anymore, you should be able to deal with it. And hopefully you will have that message on the phone. Come on down. We have a job for you.